a little break. We're going to do some more games, but I think first we're going to do some theory crafting. I need a little siesta. So during the developer chat, I had asked them if they were going to fix the summon tag on summons, like minions. It wasn't working with Thorns. And I found out that the problem is that your minions still count as their own damage source with Thorns, which they're not supposed to. And like one of the biggest things we got this season was actually if I put on a two-hander, it's not really Spar would be it. This right here is the biggest multiplier that Necromancer got for Thorns. The only problem is that it only works on the Necromancer, and it's really only useful if you use a shield. So, like, we'll put this on a wand, since, like, you're going to have permanent vulnerability this season. And we'll put this on the amulet. So the situation we've run into is that we can't really play Thorns minions this season. So we can't really play with minions this season, and the reason for that is because everything in our Paragon tree, right, that says now it's like summon damage. I think that one still works. I think Collier still works. But like everything that's like summon damage, it doesn't work. And then there's a lot of things in this tree too, where like the minion masteries still work, you know, but like Hellbent Commander doesn't work. And then they also changed Unyielding Commander to summon damage, and that also doesn't work on Thorns. So like you just don't get to synergize well with it. So you could play it, but it wouldn't be optimal. And let's go for like a starting build. I don't really want to like deck this out initially. These are like technically like a 50% X multiplier for Thorns in like every build. The problem is you just deal random CC. Which is terrible for Thorns. You don't ever want to randomly CC things. And then, like, we got a huge buff to minions with Hellbent and Golem Mastery on the pants. And then we also don't have to run Cursed Aura. So, this kind of sucks. This sucks. It feels real bad that, like, Thorns isn't going to be viable. So we'll just go with some normal pants, and we'll go boots. And the reason we're using a lot more legendaries than uniques, even though we could do some goofy things like we could run Tibalts for the 20x, we're going to get more value on a Soul of Thorns build by not running that. Don't really care about the essence loss per second. Doesn't really do anything. Just trying to figure out, you know, like what is the best way for me to get more damage on my gear. I know they use ads to pay for the site, but my god. Oh, have they just completely blocked the use of ad blocks on their site? That's terrible. That's horrible. Well, I don't mind giving revenue to Max Roll. It's just a lot of ads. It's a lot of ads.
At the Disneyland Resort.
I actually think this build is going to do pretty okay for itself.
Come find your happy today.
We really want to up our dodge and our block. Um, I wish this was better. It's a damaging aspect, but it doesn't really do anything. Um, Dodges restore 25% of our max life, or dodges fortify us for max life. Fortify is what's going to give us our bonus. I don't know if we're going to have a way to consume corpses. This sort of gives us, like, fairly well-rounded approach. I'd rather have the damage reduction. So yeah, whenever we dodge or we block, we're going to trigger Thorns, right? So that actually gives us a decent other tempered run, which I think is only defensive. Yeah. It's going to give us a little more corpse generation, which is going to help with necrotic. It's also going to give us damage reduction. And, like, I don't know, the 1,000 Thorns is pretty massive, but, like, we're going to have a lot of dodge. So, like, every time we dodge, we're restoring 25% of our max health. And then we're also fortifying every time we dodge. And then we're also applying Thorns every time we dodge. So that's pretty massive for us. And then we also have 30% block chance. Because we're getting 20% from our shield. And then we're getting another 10% from spiked armor. So most of it is going to come from dodging. But some of it's going to come from blocking. But we have both effects running, right? So we're either going to be dodging the attack or we're going to be blocking an attack. Both of these are only direct damage. So we're going to have to do something about the dots, right? It's probably our best lineup. And then, like, one of our rings could easily be Starless Skies. I like to use diamonds early on before I have like a ton of Paragon. Um, the reason for that is because it helps unlock our Paragon tree. I don't think they added in the... They did not add in the seasonal ones yet. So we definitely need to see if we hit the armor cap. Now, the seasonal occult gems don't go up to the 240 on like grands. They only give royal stats. So we're going to put in royal stats and see if we can cap. And we'll adjust the gear for tier 4 accordingly. Yeah, so we still need quite a bit of armor. I don't really want to give up dodge chance for it, though. Here we go. I was wondering where that went off to. I wonder if any of these give us dodge chance. We have counter concealment and dark shroud. %10 dodge chance. So we're gonna gain 60% move speed, unhindered, and 10% dodge chance if we go concealment. I mean, there's nothing else that's gonna give us damage. We could get, like, some barrier or something like that. So this would, like, technically be the closest thing to giving us damage. It's 600. So the question is, how do we activate it? I think we're gonna have enough barrier maybe to run that. They did do some changes to the runes. It's unfortunate. I mean, if this does work out, every 6 seconds we will be able to use it. So our uptime won't be 100%, but like doesn't necessarily need to be 100%. It's giving us a lot of the things that we want. That's probably fine for now. So it looks like this will be our starting gear. There's nothing really for us to take here. We can't crit. We don't do shadow damage, so we're just going to take resistance. And this is going to be... was it 1.6? Yeah. So it's 25%. So just right there, we're getting 40 resist all. And then if we do right here, it's another 15. So like 55 resist all. So we only need to like cap, we only need 15 resist all. Or like 15 in our stat sheet. We're actually going to save this as the base set. And then for the Paragon, we get 27 points from Renown. We're definitely not going to be running Cult Leader. I don't know if we're going to actually generate enough Blood Orbs, but it's just damage we can take. More worried about the armor than the resistance. Like, I don't really doubt we're going to resist cap. Because, like, another thing that we're not looking at is, like, if these are diamonds... Yeah. So we're, no matter what we do, we're going to be resist capped running this build. Because, like, remember, we have 55% coming. So we get another 3% from Paragon. The Occult Gems are going to take us there. The big thing is going to be armor capping. We might actually have to lose a little dodge chance for that. Which isn't the end of the world. I mean, we're going to be blocking as well, so... Go with... Amplify is a good one. Start with Flesh Eater. Go with, put Exploit here. I should probably be limiting points. I mean, we can always cut this down. Do Scent of Death next. That sweet damage reduction. We'll get more DR here. If we end up eating all the corpses, because I don't think we're going to be generating a billion of them, we'll get damage, but we more so want the damage reduction. The damage is like nice if it happens to coincide. More max life. What are we putting here? Territorial? Yeah, I'll do territorial here. Yeah, we're gonna have to take an armor rune. Temper. We have some armor down here. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough, but we'll see. Yeah, so we're like wildly overcapped on resistance already. Don't really care about the attack speed. It's not really doing anything for us. Nothing interesting, at least. Damage to crowd control isn't really going to apply ever, if we're being real with ourselves. So we can use Rahir for the 15%, right? So we go here. Where are we? We don't want him to taunt. It's actually unfortunate. This is unfortunate. Can we just go here? Get the damage. You know what? Let's see how close we get with that. Really? That is it for armor. Didn't this used to? Oh, they took it off. It's okay. Oh, we're so close. You know, actually, probably don't even need that. So this is a crazy high paragon actually. 275. So it's 275 minus 27. So this paragon level 248 for this tree right now. It's actually not too bad. What is going to get us the rest of the way though is masterworking. So I'm kind of freaking out over nothing. Yeah, right there, Capsos. Um, hmm. I'm gonna have to update this. So we don't get to run in on the chest piece anymore. We have amulet, shield, boots, pants, where we're getting 2, which is actually really nice. And then what we have... Crowded Sage and a simulation. So it looks like we have 55.4 dodge chance. 55.5. So this is off. Maybe it's not taking the aspects into account. I mean, that's pretty great. That means like half the time we take direct damage, we're activating Bristleback. More than that, because we also have the 30% block chance. And this is a massive amount of damage reduction. So yeah, just so you guys can see. Why is E9 separate? I don't think it counts as a additive anymore. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Well, that actually helped us. It's crazy. So it used to be that one of the aspects was actually additive, and it didn't run through multiplicatively. But I think main stat is the only additive portion anymore. I should actually go and look at that again. But we'll be hovering around 55, 57%, which is an insane amount. Like, direct damage isn't going to be a problem on this build. Oh, you know what I forgot to add? Is we're getting 10% from this, right? $62% is actually nuts. That is so much uptime on this. Yeah, we don't even need a GA armor roll. Say probably int and max life. That's all we're looking for on that. It shouldn't be too hard to find. I don't think we really need any more, to be honest. We could go that route, but I think this is most opportune for us. You know what? If we could take dodge chance on the gear, and just get a GA roll, that's fine. So it'd be 11.7 and 11.7. Dude, that's getting so incredibly high. That's crazy. We're gonna take vulnerable. Yeah, no, we don't want that one. We want finality, right? Titanfall. Titanfall is gonna be what we want. Yeah. So, Thorns doesn't have a temper, which just really sucks. So you just end up taking this. Yeah, it's like half of a temper. Not even. It's like a third of a temper. Oh, I really wish they would add that to the Thorns classes. Like a weapon temper would be so nice. Like either a double damage or... I don't know. But whatever. We'd be lucky to find an amulet like this, let alone a GA one. I don't think we're going to GA any of these stats. If anything, we'd want Death's Embrace, but we're not going to GA this. We're just going to assume we, like, just find this. Super cake to find this, honestly. Just go old cooldown. Damage reduction and the Thorns are the two biggest ones. And then obviously this. If we could find that, that'd be cool. I haven't even looked at our max health yet. That's impressive. I mean, this is fully decked out, but, you know, like, add another 1.2% to that. It's a lot of health. This build should not have any trouble surviving anything. We're just barely armor capped, though, which is worrying. Probably lose a dodged temper for an armor temper starting out. Yeah, it's probably the go-to. Alright, so our base damage, right, with the tempers, is going to be 2.452 times 5509, plus we're gaining 40 per spiked armor. So it's 120. We get an additional 250 from the potion, I honestly think we're going to be using the vulnerable potion, but we'll just do this for now. So our base damage, right, is going to be 14,415. And then if we wanted to figure out what the skill damage of that would be, big think. That seems wrong. That might be right. Yeah. So it's 3,200% skill damage. So our base damage is pretty high. So what we would need to do from here to figure out our damage total. We're going to assume we're not one-shotting things. Um... I forgot to add spiked armor's 15% to it. So if we had 1105 times 1.15. Okay, so it would be easier to armor cap than I thought. We're not going to be fearing anything, so we're not going to take the double that we're getting on this for the next season. It's just going to be 12%. Alright, so that's the skill tree multipliers. Let's start going down equipment. So the goofy thing is like you have a 10% chance for razor plate to work. So it can trigger on bristleback. I tested that on the PTR, but they don't all trigger together. I feel like razor plate should just be 100%. Thorns is already RNG and gimmicky enough. That's just my opinion. I don't know how to feel about it. Intercom. 9. This one is 13 to 39. I don't know. You're always getting 13, so it's pretty okay. And then we'll start adding, so we have the skill tree. We'll just add our multipliers. We just have the sacrifice from cold mages, which is 32. Yeah. Paragon's where we're going to get most of it. Correctly. Yeah. 10.4 there. 10.4. So this is like, we're not always going to have Sent to Death. This is to look at if all the stars are aligned, what's the most amount of damage we can possibly deal. Yeah, we're only getting the 10.4% of territorial. for the witch gems. Might end up using this. Probably end up using Twilight Warding just so that we always have a barrier up. Definitely using Soul Harvest. Yeah, Cornucopia is going to be massive. So we're going to get 30% more. So just put that down. Duststone. Last one will probably be Moonlit Ward. We're going to be over the resist cap, so it's going to be incredibly tanky. I'm trying to find something in the witch powers themselves. Like, something giving us damage that we can boost. See, like, I'm not entirely sure we're going to have 5 auras. Auras and hexes. So we need Aura and Hex, and we need 3 Growth and Decay. Because that's massive. 30% is massive. Let's go here to Growth and Decay and figure it out. Soul Harvest. It's an Aura. Probably Hexa Whispers for the Fortify. So that's a Hex. And then we'll use Aura of Siphoning. So that'll be our 3. So Aura of Siphoning, Hex of Whispers, and Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest just gives us 3% primary stat per monster. So I don't know what that ramps up to. That might actually be nuts. So we have 2 more powers to take. We want them to be auras or hexes. Hexer's Shattering would be good. Maybe Aura of Lament just to negate Great Feast. This seems really good for Thorns, but it's just so trash. Like, it's the damage I take is gonna go back to every 10 seconds after I use a defensive. Like, or Macabre. Yeah, I'm not using that. And nothing else is really giving us damage. So yeah, that's probably it for the damage. It's just the int, which I'm not going to calculate because it's going to be too hard. We're not going to take damage. We're going to be so unbelievably tanky. Probably Aura of Lament. Maybe Aura of Misfortune. Is there another Aura we could take? No, it's not really important. So I think that's it. God, the damage is abysmal. Like, it's so trash. Well, I mean, it's for every time we get hit, right? But it's not enough to be meaningful to, like, climb higher pits. So you're really looking for, like, Scourge of the Land. The insect boss has, like, a rapid fire attack. Yeah, you're just not... It's just not fantastic. I'll probably still make this. It'll probably be worth putting around on. I don't think it's going to be fantastic. It'll do Torment 4. It'll probably even do... It'll probably even be able to clear Pit 90. 100's asking too much of this. You're not going to do it. We really needed minions for this to, like, actually be a build that clears things. And you have to remember, right? 3 billion, 3.3, sounds like a huge number. You're like, oh my god, you know, that's a lot of zeros. But when you break it down, that's you know, Bristleback and Razorplate triggering at the same time, max Intercom, Scent of Death being up, you know, like your actual hits are going to be closer. Blight and Bone Prison are up. Your actual hits are going to be closer to like 1.5 billion. Your average damage will probably be around a billion. The big thing is it's going to AoE clear, like, incredibly well. Because Needle Flare works with all of this, right? So if you're going and you're doing, like, Infernal Hordes, or you're just, like, running, you're literally just going to run through a pit, everything that hits you is going to die. Up until the point you don't do enough damage. So it'll be as good as, you know, up to the point that you stop doing enough damage, which is going to be around pit 85 to 90, I think. You're not going to have all these things up at the same time. If this was Golem, right, and they fixed Bristleback, it would be insane. It would be absolutely insane. Because we're adding on a ton more multipliers. We're adding on Cult Leader, we're adding on Hulking Monstrosity, we're adding on the Golem Glyph. If this was Golem, it would be nuts. And then the Thorns that a Golem can obtain is just insane. You can get up to like 10,000 plus base armor. And then your Golem gets armor from Death's Defense on top of, you know, the Paragon armor. So its base armor is insane. It can get up to like 15,000. Probably more. And then you multiply that by 200%, right? So you're like base Thorns with like all your buffs and everything, because it's getting your Thorns plus that value. And you can really wrench up your Thorns on your minions. To the point to where your Golem has like 30,000, 40,000 Thorns. Plus more multipliers. So like, when you have the Golem, the damage this build is capable of is insane. You're starting to get into the territory of doing like pit 100 plus. But yeah, just with the summon tag not working properly, that's not really a realistic thing. Another build I already theory crafted was Blighted Corpse Explosion. And this gets pretty nutty. You can just get so many skill ranks. It's not fantastic. Like, Blight's going to be better. But, you know, like, this is a single pull, by the way. This isn't multiple pulls. So, every pull that you cast will do 2.4 billion a second. So, that gets pretty nutty. Blight will be better just because it gets so many more pulls. Ebon Piercer is going to be crazy because you can cast 3 Blights a second, so you have the Blight plus the 3 Blights. So you get 12 Blight pools a second, and they do separate damage from each other. But you get 12 pools ticking on a monster per second up to 6 seconds. So you would essentially be able to get 72? Yeah, 72 pools. Right? So even though like BCE has this like crazy DPS potential, Blight has an even crazier one. Because even if Blight only got to like 1 billion DPS, which I think is very reasonable for it, that's 72 billion DPS. BCE will be fun to play though. I think this will definitely clear, I don't know, pit 110. I think Blight will be clearing like pit 120s or something. Like, it's going to be nuts. I think people are sleeping on it right now. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the theory crafting for today. We'll just have to see how the season shakes out. I need to update the minion guide too while I'm at it, but I'll do that after I get off stream.